Hey Kelly, if you can hear me, you want to try to test your mic and test sharing your screen?
Okay, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep, yeah, we can hear you good.
Mhm.
Yeah, go ahead and see if you can click share screen.
Okay.
If not, I can make you
It
a
says
host.
someone else is sharing.
Oh, okay. Jason, can you stop sharing real fast? Thanks.
Yes. Oops.
Okay. Let's see. Is that sharing?
Not yet.
Okay, so let me see. Why can't I do this? Let's see. Okay, here we go. Let's see. How's that?
Oh, there we go. Perfect.
Okay.
Works
Okay.
fine. All right, thank you.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Thanks for the trial run.
I got the backup version if you need it. Um,
Appreciate it.
yeah, if you need us to share, we can. Just let me know.
Okay, thank you.
All right. For anybody waiting and the attendees, oh, sorry, let me turn my video on. For anybody waiting in the attendees, we're gonna start around 6:05. If you guys need to go get a glass of water or something, we'll start around 6:05. We'll let everybody trickle in. Thanks for your patience. Hey, all, for anyone that just joined, we're gonna wait till 6:05 to start. So just sit tight for me, please. We're gonna wait till about 6:05. Just let as many people join as we can before we get started. Hey Lynn, thanks for joining. Um, should we wait for the council member before we get started?
Yeah, he will be coming eventually. So, and he does plan to say a few words. So it might be best to get started, and then when he joins, if you don't mind pausing to let him say a few words.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's no problem at all.
Great.
For the people on my side, if you can, just keep an eye out for him and we can promote him. I'm just gonna give it a few more minutes to get started. I just want to let as many people as possible join. So, 6:05 is when we'll get going. There we go, Lynn. I do see the council member. Let me pull him over. Hi, council member. How are you?
Hey there. Thank you. I'm doing fine, Alec.
Nice to see you again. Thanks for joining.
Sure.
I'm gonna get started just about a minute here. I'm just gonna go over just the basics of the meeting, and then if you don't mind, I'll pass it off to you. You can have a little intro if you'd like. Would that work?
Sure. Thank you.
Right on. Okay. Yeah, let's get it started here. Welcome everybody. Looks like we got a pretty good attendance. Got about 54 people in the attendees list right now, so good turnout. Glad you could all make it. So just as a quick way of introductions, my name is Alec Atienza, and I'm the planning project manager with the city's planning division for the 1170 Pedro residential project. Before we get started, I just want to go over a couple of meeting notes, just so everybody's aware. So when you entered the meeting, you are automatically placed on mute. When the time comes, we're going to open this up for public forum. So if you look at your Zoom controls on the bottom, you'll see there's a raised hand function. Like I said, when the time comes, you can use that to raise your hand and we'll call on you to unmute you. If you're on the phone, I see a couple people that are on the phone. Use *9, and that's how you raise your hand. And I'll list out these instructions again before we get started on the public forum. Another item of note is that you can access the agenda on the link provided on the postcard notice or on the webpage for this project meeting. And just please look at page 5 of the agenda, and that outlines the code of conduct for this evening. Secondly, this meeting is being recorded, so if anybody wants to see the meeting or anybody couldn't make it tonight, I can share this with the council district office. We can also post it to YouTube if we need to, make it as accessible as possible for anybody. So if anybody doesn't make it, or you know of anybody who couldn't make it, we can share the link and they can review the meeting. Lastly, and most importantly, this is a community meeting. So it's an informational community meeting. It is not a public hearing. So no approval or denial of this project is taking place. For property owners and tenants within 1,000 feet radius of this project site at 1170 Pedro Street, you should have received a public hearing notice. If you did not, please let me know. I'll have my contact info at the end of these slides, and you can reach out to me. I'll add you to our interested parties list. That would also mean that you would receive a notice for any future hearing. So again, if you did not receive a notice for this meeting, give me a call or shoot me an email and I'll add you to the list. I've received a good amount of emails. Anybody who sent me an email, you're on the list. So just so you know. So just to give you guys an overview of what we're going to do tonight, I'm going to provide an overview of the project application, and then I'm going to provide an environmental review. Actually, Nguyen, who's our environmental planner. She'll be providing the environmental review. And then we're going to have the applicant, who's represented by Kelly Ruchena tonight. She is going to provide the actual project presentation, show you guys the details of the project on behalf of the applicant and the property owner. And then lastly, we're going to open it up for public comment. So if anybody has any comments or questions, that will be the time. I've allotted an hour and a half for this meeting, so I'm hoping we can get public comments in. Anybody who wants to speak. Given that we have about 57 people, we are going to limit it to 2 minutes per person. If we have enough time for additional comments, we'll allow it. But I just want to make sure that everybody has an equal amount of time to speak. And again, my contact information is going to be at the end of these slides. Please pick up the phone, give me a call, or you can send me an email if you have any public comments. So with that, Jason, can you hit the next slide for me, please? And I will let the council member, Michael McCahey, who represents District 6, kick it off for us. Council member.
Great. Thanks, Alec. And I see Jason is on here as well from city staff, and just want to thank you for getting this set up, and really want to appreciate the 50+ people who are on the line. And of course, we know that this project has gained a lot of attention over the many months that it has been sort of discussed and considered. And just want to thank you for your public engagement. And as Alec pointed out, this isn't a two-way conversation this evening. And so we'll look forward to hearing from Kelly, who I have not had the prior opportunity to meet, that presentation. I'll be an audience member like the rest of us here and listening in, and be assured that my several members of my team are also online. And forgive me, I'm coming to you live from my car after a memorial service, so I'll be putting myself on mute like the rest of us, and hearing what the applicant presents, and appreciate everybody's participation. And Alec, thank you for allowing me a moment to welcome everybody to the call.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, council member. Appreciate the words. Yeah, I'm coming to you live from City Hall, from the Cubes. I apologize for the Lakers decorations. I lost a bet. All right, let's get down to it. One last thing, just so everybody knows. So again, Alec Atienza, I'm from Planning Division. I have with me Jason Lee. He is my Builder's Remedy expert. Me and Jason are actually tag teaming all of the Builder's Remedy applications in the city. We have that lucky or unlucky distinction. And then we also have Nguyen, who is our environmental planner. We also got a couple staff members from Public Works and DOT if we have any traffic transportation related questions. All right, without further ado, let's jump into the site description. So I think, as most of you know, this site is 1170 Pedro Street. It's the San Jose Swim and Racket Club is the existing use. It is a 3.26 gross acre site. One of the important things that I think I'm trying to put into this presentation as a through line is understanding what the general plan and what zoning do. So just as a very high level understanding, think of the general plan as a city's roadmap for the future, right? It's how a city plans for future growth, right? And a zoning is more of the finer grain details of land use, of the built environment, of what setbacks, what heights, maybe some, in this case, actually still parking requirements might be established for a particular zoning district. So in the case of the San Jose Swim and Racket Club, the general plan land use designation is private recreation and open space. And you may be thinking, okay, why is there housing here? We will get to that. The zoning district is RM, multiple residence zoning district, which actually does allow for multifamily residential development. Jason, can you hit the next slide, please? Okay, so we have two applications on file here. The first application is what's called a vesting tentative map, and that is for the subdivision of the property. So this applicant has applied for a tentative map, file number T23-013. It's an existing one lot right now. They're proposing to subdivide the lot into 13 lots. 7 of those would be residential lots that would have each of the buildings, as well as 6 common lots. And that's either for the private streets or for any common areas. The meat of the project is the site development permit, that's file H23-017. And that would allow the construction of 85 residential condominium units, townhouses for short, configured in 7 4-story buildings. The project also proposes the removal of 25 ordinance-sized trees. One of the features of the project is that it includes 13% of the units for low-income households earning up to 80% of the area median income. That's 80% of the county's area median income. And this site development permit application also does include an application under state density bonus law, and that includes waivers for building height, setbacks, private open space, a few other items. And if anybody has any questions about state density bonus law, we can get into that. But I just want to try to keep this at a higher level. The proposed unit mix is 2 and 3 bedrooms. I believe it's 5 2-bedroom units and 83 bedroom units. I'll have Kelly correct me on that one if it's updated since. There are 181 parking spaces provided in this project, 2 for each unit with a 2-car garage, and then 11 guest parking spaces. And then the maximum height of the buildings are 44 feet tall. And okay, lastly, yep, for the low income units, yeah, there's 11 of the units are provided for low income. So that equates to 13%. Okay, next slide, Jason. Okay, so this is back to that 3rd slide that I showed you guys, which is the general plan, the zoning district. You're asking yourselves, hey, why is a site that's designated private recreation and open space? Why is there an application for housing development on it? The short answer is builder's remedy. I will try to keep this presentation as far away from basically a college lecture as I can on state law, but I think it is important for everybody here to understand the context and the legal context for why there is a housing application at this site. So as of January 1st, 2025, there is a new state law on the books. It's called Assembly Bill 1893. And what that did was it clarified builder's remedy. So just as some background, when this application was originally submitted, it was submitted under what we locally refer to as builder's remedy 1.0. In effect, builder's remedy is a penalty that basically requires cities to review housing applications that are otherwise inconsistent with the general plan designation and the zoning district. It was a law that was, or excuse me, a penalty that was baked into the Housing Accountability Act, which is a state law that governs housing development in the state of California. So to bring it back, effective January 1st, 2025, the state legislature passed AB 1893, which essentially clarified the builder's remedy law. And what you see on your screen here is the criteria that any builder's remedy project needs to meet in order to proceed. So it has to provide affordable housing to very low, or moderate income households, and there are specific parameters for that laid out in the law. The applicant has to have submitted an application while a city did not have a substantially compliant housing element, as certified by the State Department of Housing and Community Development. Just as an aside, a housing element is an element of the general plan that every city in California has to have, basically explaining how the city will allow the development of housing that it's been allocated. And then within builder's remedy, there is a minimum and a maximum density provision. And then lastly, the project cannot abut a heavy industrial or Title V industrial use. So if a project does meet that criteria, cities cannot deny a qualifying builder's remedy project based on inconsistency with a city's general plan land use designation or the zoning ordinance. What a city can do is deny a qualifying builder's remedy project if it will result in a specific adverse impact to the public health and safety But there's a caveat to that, and that is the fact that the applicant, maybe if the applicant can mitigate that specific adverse impact to the public health and safety, then they have the ability to do so, and the city cannot deny. Sorry, a bit long-winded, but I think it's important to understand that context. So this is the basics of the law itself. So now let's go into how this law actually interplays with the projects before you. So the applicant submitted an SB 330 preliminary application. What that is an application that locks an application in time at the time it is submitted. So they submitted an application, a preliminary application for this project on April 6th, 2023. They then submitted a formal project application. That's the site development permit tentative map applications that I was talking about on August 18th of 2023. And the city's housing element was not found in substantial compliance by HCD until January 29th of 2024. So what that means is this project is eligible for the builder's remedy even before Assembly Bill 1893 came around. Nevertheless, January 1st, AB 1893 was passed, became effective. And then on February 21st, 2025, this applicant invoked AB 1893. So what does this mean going forward? The city will treat the project as if it meets the general plan land use designation and requirements of the zoning district, and the city will evaluate the project for compliance with objective health and safety standards and CEQA. So to answer the question, does the project meet the general plan and zoning anyway? It does not meet the requirements of the private recreation and open space general plan, as you can imagine. It actually does meet some of the requirements of the RM zoning district. And we can go into that if you'd like. If anybody has any questions about that, I'm happy to kind of dig deeper into the weeds, but this is the gist of the builder's remedy. What I would like to do for this meeting, and I understand that might not work for some people, but please try to keep your comments more geared toward the project itself. You can always email or call me. We can discuss builder's remedy till the cows come home. But it would be nice if people could generally focus their points on the project itself. Okay, I'll stop talking about builder's remedy now. Jason, next slide, please. So this is important for people to understand just the planning permit process. So this goes for any project, doesn't matter if it's builder's remedy or not. When we receive an application, we first need to determine that application is complete. The applicant has submitted a complete application under the city's application requirements. And then we get down into project review. So that includes, basically review of the project, in this case, for any applicable design standards or guidelines, any applicable policies. We also have other departments that take a look at these projects, right? So we have Department of Transportation, Department of Public Works, the Fire Department, the Building Division, Environmental Services Division looks at, trash pickup, basically all aspects of the development project. And then we go out and solicit community input. So that's what we're doing tonight. Tonight is for members of the public to provide input on the project, ask any questions, clarifying questions you might have. As part of this track, there's also the environmental review process, and that is conducted under the California Environmental Quality Act. That's commonly referred to as CEQA. So what we do as part of project review is we provide formal comments to the applicant, and then we go back and forth. So we say, hey, you need to update your plans to show us this, this, and this. They formally resubmit those plans, and then we have another round of review. So actually right now we are currently in the third round of review for this project, aiming to get comments back hopefully by early next week, ideally. Kelly, I know you're thinking about that one. So basically, once all of the comments are completed, the applicant addresses every comment that we have within the bounds of the law, and the environmental review is completed, we will schedule the project for a public hearing. So in this case, this project will go to what's called a planning director's hearing. So those are held every Wednesday morning, 9 a.m. via Zoom. Again, if you did not receive a notice for this hearing, please let me know. I can make sure that you guys receive notices for the director's hearing. Don't have a date yet, but it will be formally noticed roughly 25 to 30 days in advance. At any time in this process, you guys are welcome to reach out to me. Send me an email, shoot me a call, whatever you like if you want to talk about this project. Next up, I'm going to have Nguyen talk about the environmental review portion of this project. New, go for it.
Thank you, Alec, and good evening, everyone. Nuno with the environmental review team to briefly go over the environmental review process. Brief introduction on CEQA, which is the California Environmental Quality Act. It requires state and local agencies to disclose and evaluate the significant environmental impacts of proposed projects and to adopt all measures to reduce or eliminate those impacts. For this project, an environmental analysis document that analyzes the potential environmental impacts that would occur from project construction and operation is currently being prepared. The environmental analysis for this project includes technical reports to demonstrate and document project compliance with the Class 32 infill development exemption and exception criteria contained in the CEQA sections 15332 and 15300 section 2. And the applicability of the Class 32 infill exemption comes from a technical assistance letter that the city received from the Department of Housing and Community Development, otherwise known as HCD. Under the Class 32 infill exemption, normally projects have to meet the criteria that it is consistent with the applicable general plan designation and all applicable zoning designations and regulations. However, the HCD letter gave us direction that as a lead agency, we can't rely on this requirement of the CEQA guidelines Class 32 info exemption to preclude a project that meets the definition of builder's remedy. And so since this project has invoked builder's remedy, the qualifying project is considered consistent with the general plan and zoning designation. And therefore, we're analyzing this project if it meets all criteria of the Class 32 exemption, in addition to meeting the general plan and zoning designation that, and if none of the exceptions apply to the exemption, that the project is eligible for a Class 32 infill exemption. The technical reports currently under review are air quality and health risk assessment, assessment for biological resources, cultural resources, hazards. We're preparing a phase 1 environmental site assessment, a noise and vibration analysis, as well as a local transportation analysis. And once the city and consultant completes their analysis and review of the environmental analysis document, the document and technical studies will be made available for the public. Please feel free to reach out if you would like to be notified when the environmental analysis is available or if you have any questions. And I'll be passing this back to Alec.
Right on. Thanks, New. Okay, so now let's kick it over to the project applicant. Kelly, you should be able to share your screen.
Okay, let me see if it's gonna let me do it. Let's see, share screen. How are we doing? Does everyone see my screen, Alec?
Oh, hey, yep, looks good.
Okay.
I don't know if you want to full screen it or not. Up
I
to you.
do.
Oh,
Yeah, thank you. I will.
yeah.
Here we go. Okay, well, thank you for that introduction, Alec. My name is Kelly Ricina, and I'm representing the applicant, the True Life Companies. I'm going to kick it off right away and just jump right in with the full presentation of the project and some of the elements and design, and then hopefully we can answer any questions that you might have at the end. So right here we have a rendering on Pedro Street facing the project. As you can see, these are the 4-story buildings, kind of what they would look like. And this would build out to be 85 units on the site. As Alec has kind of covered in great detail, so I won't spend a lot of time on this. The general plan land use designation is private recreation and open space. And the zoning is multiple residence district, which Alec has said are kind of sites the city has identified for higher density residential developments. So here we have an aerial view of the Swim and Racket Club. The site is 3.26 acres. It's got Pedro Street to the north and the Los Gatos Creek to the southeast, and then residential adjacencies, either apartment complexes or single family residences. I'd like to also share that the project site is located in a priority development area recognized by Santa Clara County and the Association of Bay Area Governments. These are sites that were just established to address housing needs in urban settings, and are areas where new development will support day-to-day needs in a pedestrian-friendly environment served by transit. So I guess what that is saying is, this site was identified as kind of being idyllic for its location because it's got the close proximity to the VTA light rail train system that would also connect to BART. And then there's also the bus stop over, I think it's on Meridian and Fruitdale. So it kind of lends itself to a walkability level for getting access in and around and out of town. Here we're just looking at a rendering that was provided. It's a street view within the development facing towards the Los Gatos Creek. So you kind of would see those are garage doors to the street. And then towards the back, I'll have just kind of a nice open space area with plants and trees. Here are some of the residential elements of the 4-story homes. As Alec has said, there will be 85 units over 3.26 acres. So that gets us to a density of 26.07 dwelling units to the acre. The height of the buildings have some variations, as you can tell, but at its max, it would be 44 feet tall. Setbacks to the front are about 15 feet, and at the rear, 30 feet. And then for parking, with each unit having a 2-car garage and then an 11 additional guest parking spaces. And as Alec has already outlined, the project will also provide 11 units at lower income levels. So here's a little bit more information about the community. The homes will vary in size to 2 to 3 bedrooms. Alec was correct. No surprise. Great job, Alec. There's 5 2-bedroom and 80 3-bedroom townhomes. And then these will have 2 to 3 bathrooms. Each unit will have its own private 2-car tandem garages, and will vary in sizes from 1,373 square feet to 2,052 square feet. I talked about the height already. Additional highlights of the community is that it'll be a gated private cul-de-sac development with common open space adjacent to the creek. Combined private and common open space totaling over 40,000 square feet, and 181 parking spaces. In addition to that, there will be bicycle parking spaces within the common areas in several different locations. Plus, there will be opportunity to put bicycles in each of the garages to store them safely. This will have single-family trash collection, so everyone will have their own trash bin in their individual garages. There will not be, one or two huge dumpsters that everyone has to take their trash up to. This exhibit just outlines the deed-restricted townhomes that will be offered. These, again, vary in size and location throughout the development. 1,373 square feet to 1,740 square feet homes, opportunities for lower income households to have the pride of home ownership and feel a part of their community and kind of put some roots in. These homes will be deed restricted for 45 years. Here's just a nice rendering with the Paseo view. The community will have just nice plantings and trees, and all of that will be maintained by the HOA. And then this is kind of a comprehensive overview of kind of some of the things we've already discussed or that I've mentioned. The entrance at the front with the pavers. It's the pedestrian crossings as well. Native California plant species within the open space area at the back. A mailbox kiosk with bicycle parking. And then additional open space areas with, nice shaded trees and bicycle parking, and as well as a, little bench for ride share pickup if that's needed. And so that kind of concludes my portion of this presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Kelly.
Sure.
All right, we'll throw our slides back up. There we go. Thanks, Jason. Okay, so you know what? Let's open it up to public comment. We really wanted to reserve the bulk of our time for this portion of the meeting. Again, everybody use the raise hand function. It's at the bottom of your Zoom screen. If you're on the computer or if you're on your phone, you should be able to see the raise hand function. And we'll go in order. If I see 1, 2, 3, I see like 3 people who are calling in. So call-in numbers, you have to hit *9. *9 on your phone, and that's how you raise your hand. And then oh god, Jason, do you remember how do you unmute if you're on the phone?
I think it's *6.
I think you're right. We'll
But
test it
we
when we
have
get
to, yeah, we have to
when we
unmute
get
you.
to someone who's calling in, we'll test it for you. Yeah, we have about 62 people in the attendees, so we are going to limit it to 2 minutes. Sorry, folks. If we run through and we still have time left, we can jump back again. So let's just get it rolling. Maureen, I have Maureen. You should be unmuted. Go for it, Maureen. Can you hear us? Maureen, you there? Oh no, hot start. Okay. Maureen, I'm gonna mute you. You might have to switch your input or output. But I'll come back to you, Maureen. Just hold tight. Let's go Robin. Robin, you're unmuted.
Yeah, hi. 2 questions. One, the open space, will there be access to Los Gatos Creek? Or is it going to be landscaped and closed off?
Yeah, if you want to answer that, or do you want me to wait for
I
you to
think
ask?
sorry, what I should have said is
Yeah.
let's take all the questions and comments and then we'll answer them kind of in bulk. If we have like a ton of comments,
Gotcha.
we'll break it up. So Robin, sorry, pause your time. Robin, go for it. And then you know what, we'll answer after a batch of comments.
Okay, and oh, I forgot my other question. Oh, never mind. I'll raise my hand if I.
Eh, come back around. Sorry, I messed up your train of thought. Come back around
Yeah,
again. I'll
thanks.
let you talk again. All right, let's try Maureen again. There
Can
we
you-
go. We can hear you now.
Okay, yeah,
Beautiful.
my IT support individual, meaning my husband, had come in. Now I have to remember what my question was. The artist rendering that Miss Regina showed the property north of the gym, the Swim and Racket Club. It showed nice expansive lawns. It looks nothing like what it actually is. Is there an intention to redo the landscaping on the property north on Pedro?
Just a clarifying question there, Maureen. Are you talking about the property like across Pedro Street?
Yes, north. The
Oh,
art
okay.
rendering showed expansive lawns. There are lawns there, but it showed no trees. And there are in fact trees. I'm concerned about too many trees being removed.
Okay. Anything else, Maureen? We're gonna answer in a batch. So-
Okay, and also the original, whatever I downloaded this afternoon indicated 25 trees being removed, 10 ordinance size, 15 not. But in your introductory comments, you mentioned 25 ordinance size trees. So I'm pretending I'm the who is at the LORAC speaking for the trees. There will be replacement trees, I hope.
Okay, anything else, Maureen? Still
That's
got some
all.
time left. Okay,
Thank you.
you got it. Let's go. Hold on, let me switch it up here. Okay, let's go to Chris D. Chris, you're up. Can you hear us, Chris?
Okay,
Oh, there we go.
can you hear me now?
We can. Go for it.
Has there been any thought given to that this property is zoned recreational and open space? And we're going to put 85 units in this property. This property has been open space and recreational since the 70s or 70 years, I believe it is. Has there been any, I mean, does that matter that it's zoned something else? My question, that's my question.
Okay, understood. I can address that at the end.
Okay,
Anything else, Chris? Any other questions or comments?
that will do it.
Okay, right on. Thank you. Next up, I've got Mindy. Mindy, go for it.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you just fine.
Great. My name is Mindy Harrington. And I guess I'm stating publicly that I think it's a tragedy that we're letting an out-of-state builder come in, put 84 units in, and only 11 are actually solving the low housing crisis, so the low income housing crisis. My question though is to Alec. I wondered, for the city of San Jose, how many projects like this have been rejected based on not being able to comply with the environmental standards?
Gotcha. Understood. I
And can
again,
you give
I will be able
examples
to
of like ones that didn't make it and what those were?
sure, we could try. Let me claw back some memory. Anything else there, Mindy?
No, I think that's good.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry, I muted myself. Let's go. I have a phone ending in 474. You should be able to unmute. Try *6.
Hi. Yeah, 474.
We got you. We can hear you.
David. Okay, great. My family has been members of the Swim and Racket Club for over 30 years. Our children grew up there. It's a great recreational facility. Understand it's private property, there's a family that wants to sell it out since the owner is no longer with us. And the heirs want to cash in here. Well, understood. But what other recreational facilities are available? This is especially the swimming pool. You can go anywhere, work out. There's a million places to go to a gym, but there aren't too many swimming pools available within a reasonable area, and then a tennis club. So is recreation being subdued in our community? Where else am I going to go? The closest, we've been looking for alternatives, and we're talking, you got to go to Los Gatos at maybe 2 or 3 times the cost. I don't know. I can't believe that somebody doesn't want to take that over. Why are we destroying recreational facilities in our community? Where do you want me to go? Is that clear? Is that a question?
I think
You
so.
get it?
Anything else, David?
Well, there's the whole area surrounding it is low income community. I mean, the couple of streets, there's a facility across the street that was a senior living facility that was gutted out and taken over as a shelter kind of facility. And then the street there has Unity Place and several other low income housing. So
All right.
what are you doing? I mean, I missed the first part of the meeting. I just got home from a trip.
Hey,
But
David,
11,
David,
yeah.
your 2 minutes is up. Only 2 minutes apiece. I'm sorry. But if you want to come back
Okay,
around, we
that's fine.
can throw you at the end. But I mean, I can try to answer some of your questions. I'm going to answer as many questions as I
Okay.
can, sort of in batches.
I didn't see a red light, but okay.
I know,
That's 2 minutes. Thank you.
I'm sorry. You're on the phone.
No,
so
it's okay.
I know you
No,
can't.
no problem.
All good. I just
Star
want to be
what? 9 to mute?
conscious. *9, you got it. I just want to be conscious of other people's time. We got a lot of people that want to speak.
No worries.
All right. Who we got up next? Autumn Young. Autumn, you are unmuted.
It's actually Scott. I'm on my wife.
Oh.
My wife's sign in.
All good.
Thank you. So in the site plan, very clearly, this project is got hundreds of feet along Los Gatos Creek, and you can see it the creek almost makes a 90-degree turn. And right in the elbow, the top of the bank on the Swim and Racket Club property has been falling into the creek. So there was no talk by Kelly or anybody on the setback. I believe it's 30 feet. I don't know if that's changed, because it was quite alarming to see the south end of the project that used to have a 30-foot setback. Now it's seen there's some new plans, and it looked like you've got 7 parking places right against the single family home fence at the end of the property. That's like a new thing. So I don't know if you're still looking at a 30-foot setback when the city's riparian corridor policy is 100 feet on the creek. I realize that you don't normally have a 100-foot setback, but hey, 30 feet now, where it's eroding, 10 feet tomorrow. So is that the proper amount? That's why this project needs to have, even with its class 32 exemption, the city needs to have an initial study and the environmental review done for this project on its impacts to the creek and the creek bank. Also, there are some buffer trees on the property that are both in the setback, used to be in the setback on the south end of the property that now looks like it's got parking places. All of those trees should be retained. There's no need to remove those larger trees. And also, if the builder is going to entitle it and sell this project to another builder, we want to have another community meeting to make sure everything that's agreed upon now stays with who they sell their project to. Thank you.
Thank you, Autumn. All right, up next, I've got Rourke Clayton. Rourke?
Okay, how about now?
You're good, we can hear you.
So I just kind of recall, I don't know if the renderings changed, renderings and plans changed, but it seems like when I first saw any of these renderings, it showed the building ends to be 3-story rather than 4-story. And I almost saw one, I think I saw one of those now, but the majority, everything just looks very boxy and they all look like they're all 4 stories. So I wanted to clarify that. Are there any sections that are 3-story at the ends? I think what Scott mentioned, at the very south end, it used to be in the first plan, a bioretention zone, I think it's called. But now it looks like parking that abuts right to the private property, single family homes to the south. Is there any kind of screening or fencing or greenery that can be included there if this project goes through? Those are my questions. Thanks.
Got it. Thanks, Rourke. Okay, next up, I've got Patty Workover.
Actually, it's her husband, Edward Chen. So sorry about that, guys.
All good, all good.
Yeah. So I take my daughter to that park almost on a daily basis. I was wondering if there was a study or analysis about the density of population in parks that are necessary in that area. Because as of right now, there isn't any park that's very close that we can go to within a timely manner. So that's the first question. The second is kind of echoing the same thing that Scott and Rourke was mentioning, essentially stating, hey, we have pretty much standards that we're supposed to stay away from creeks, and why aren't we abiding to those while building this property? So I think those are my two main questions regarding this build out. And thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next I've got Patricia Saucedo.
Good evening. Thank you for holding this community meeting. I wanted to bring up a couple of things with the 2-minute limitation. Under the EIR analysis that will be conducted, I think it's extremely important that a very deep dive be done regarding traffic impacts. Lincoln and Pedro, Lincoln and Glen Erie, that entire area is already significantly impacted. Lincoln is a commuter route every morning from people from Almaden through Lincoln Avenue to the freeway, and then again in the evening. You have a grocery store that has direct access onto and off of Lincoln Avenue. I think this is a very serious, a significant issue, and the EIR really needs to address this. And should this be approved, needs to look to the project to address the traffic impacts it will make along Lincoln Avenue. Second, there's been several comments regarding the riparian corridor. I support those comments, and I think that also needs to have a very strong look. Also, the renderings that were given in the presentation today, I would just say very little, very, very little information being provided as to what this project will be. There's no information about the surrounding neighborhood, where this project will be dropped into, the impacts it will have on the surrounding neighborhood. It's mostly lower income community that lives in this area. It's residential, and we're going to suddenly have this major multifamily residential project coming into the neighborhood. I think that the renderings and future presentations really need to have more information. How many trees are going to be planted within the development? I didn't see trees. I saw a lot of bushes, but I didn't see many trees. Also, a final is, since the city's lack of a adopted housing element is the reason we're facing a builder's remedy project, what does the city plan to do to help replace this significant quality of life facility for this community? We would not be facing this fast track process if it weren't for the city not having an adopted housing element. The city has some responsibility here, and they need to let this community know, should this project be approved, what are they going to do to replace the recreational quality of life facility that does so much for so
Hey,
many?
Patricia. Hey, Patricia.
I'm
Sorry,
out.
you only got 2 minutes. Sorry.
That's all right.
I lost track of time.
I think I made my point. Thank you.
No, you did. You did. Well received. Okay, let's keep it rolling. Janet, you're up next.
Wait, can you hear me now?
We can hear you. Go for it.
Yeah, I just wanted to, thanks for holding this meeting. I wanted to circle back on the environmental review slide that your colleague talked about. It's mostly a question of clarification. You know, so I understand the buyer's remedy has allowed for an override basically of the zoning and general plan that the city had in place. How does it impact the environmental requirements? I don't really understand class 32 CE, and I'm just wondering if you can address that briefly for the group at the end of the call. You know, are the standards for all the environmental reviews being lowered as a result of this situation that we're in with the buyer's remedy? So that's essentially it. And I, you know, support pretty much every comment that is made so far by the people who have called in. So thank you.
Got it. Yeah, we can touch on that, Janet. That's no problem.
Thank you.
I see 2 more hands up, so I'm gonna get to those hands, and then what I'll do is I think we can start answering some questions, and then I'll go through another batch of hands if that sounds good to everybody. Okay, next up is M Chang 27.
Hey.
Oh, I think you muted.
Can you hear me?
Now we can hear you.
Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so yeah, I'm just trying to follow up with Autumn Young's question, which is when you answer the question, could you elaborate the open space next to Las Gatos Creek? What is the city requirement when you say 30? Is that 30 from the center of the water, or from the actual water, or from the high mark area, right? And then what's the requirement? You know, say if someone bought a house, do they have access to the river, or there will be a fence locked up? So it's just you know, elaborate a little bit more on that area.
Okay, understood. We
Thank
can
you.
do that for you.
Yeah,
Anything
thank you.
else?
I'm good, thanks.
Okay, understood. Yeah, like I said, I'm gonna take one more, and then we'll answer some questions, and then we can roll back to comments. Okay, next up is Sarah Osborne. Go for it, Sarah.
Hear me?
Yep, we can hear you now. There you go.
Okay. Thank you for taking my question. A lot of people have touched on this already, but I'm just going to ask for some clarification. Has the environmental impact study started? Is that in progress? How long does that take? When will that be completed? I'm just curious to know the timeline on that. And the other question was about the soil under all the swimming pools. Is that an issue? Will there be studies done on the soil that's currently underneath 2 swimming pools? And those are my comments and questions. Thank you.
Alec, you're on mute.
You'd think I'd learn after this freaking long. Jesus Christ. Sorry, guys. We'll pause here. Let's answer some questions. Gonna try to group them together so that they're sort of thematically make sense. And then we'll run another batch of comments because we have till 7:30. So I want to just make sure we're not losing track of what people were asking. Okay, so let me start first. I am gonna call on you first. I'm sorry. Can you maybe just touch on general SQL requirements again?
Hi, Alec, no worries. Yeah, I just wanted to clarify what I had said earlier in my presentation. We are currently preparing a environmental analysis for the project. And for this project, we are reviewing it against the criteria of a Class 32 info exemption. Under the California Environmental Quality Act, there are a series of categorical exemptions, and they have requirements that the project has to comply with, and also exceptions for certain criteria that the projects cannot be like exempted under if they do not meet the criteria of those exceptions. I can send those requirements to anyone who wants to look more deeply into that, like via email. But what I was saying earlier about how builders remedy kind of made us, or not, how we're reviewing this project under a Class 32 categorical exemption, which typically requires a project to be consistent with the general plan and zoning designation. We are processing this as a project that is consistent because the Housing and Community Development, HCD, they have provided us guidance that under Builder's Remedy, the projects that are within this Builder's Remedy, that qualifies for Builder's Remedy, can use a Class 32 info exemption, and we can't preclude a project from using this analysis just because they're not consistent with the general plan and zoning designation.
Thanks, New. New, could you maybe just touch on, because I think one of the most common comments we heard tonight was on riparian. Can you maybe I can touch on the riparian policy part of it real quick, which is for everybody in the audience. So the city actually does have a riparian corridor policy. Despite any arguments swirling around builder's remedy, the city's position is that this policy still does apply. Given the regulatory environment, that may change, but as of right now, as of today, we strongly believe that the riparian corridor policy does apply. With that, New, could you maybe just go into what you guys are looking for as part of a riparian corridor policy study?
Yeah, so typically a riparian under the riparian corridor policy that the city has, a developer is eligible to apply for a setback exception if they meet certain criteria of the riparian corridor policy, and that is currently what's being reviewed. A riparian corridor study has been prepared by the applicant, and we're currently reviewing that against the exception criteria, which includes requirements such that sites that are being redeveloped with uses that are similar to existing use, the extent to which meeting the required setback would result in a demonstrable hardship, and other criteria that the applicant has to demonstrate in order for us to grant them this setback exception.
Thanks, New. And I would just follow up on that as well. So as part of our review, we are consulting with both Valley Water because they are one of the groups that reviews projects adjacent to creeks, rivers and creeks, and then I believe the Habitat Agency as well.
Yeah.
Can you confirm that too, New?
Yeah, we are coordinating with the Habitat Agency. The proposed project currently meets the exemption requirements of the Habitat Plan because it's a redevelopment project that wouldn't result in new we're analyzing it or whether or not it would, result in any new impacts to stream or riparian habitat. Since the current buffer of the development currently is up to 0 feet. This project is actually setting back the development from 30 feet. And so we're in consultation with them to confirm that as well.
Yeah, so I think that was one of the comments or one of the questions was, what is the proposed buffer? So yes, as it currently stands, the proposed buffer is 30 feet. To the point that a lot of people made, yes, those parking spaces at the southern end, that is new. That's something that they added recently. So yeah, we're looking at those, especially with respect to the riparian corridor policy. So that is currently under review right now. Somebody had a question about trees. Kelly, I will ask you, can you confirm a number of trees? I still have 25. Do you know how many trees you're proposing to remove? If you're there.
I am sorry, I just needed to unmute.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I believe that what you have for tree removal is correct. And then of course, we're gonna abide by the city's tree mitigation program. So I think we're in excess of 60 trees being planted in there.
Yeah, right now I see on the tree count, it required replacement is 31 24-inch box trees, which comes out to equivalent of 62 15-gallon trees, and the total number proposed is 132 24-inch box trees. So I mean, it is a substantial replacement. To the question, just generally, tree removals. Yeah, so we actually do have to make findings for the removal of trees. So again, because the site design slightly shifted, especially with parking, that's something we have to look at again as part of this round of review to make sure that if they are proposing to remove trees, do they meet the standards? I will just say, in general, the direction from City Council over the last few years, and we actually had a tree audit as well on the city, is to preserve trees if at all possible, wherever feasible. So that is something that I can safely say that we prioritize as a department. That being said, hey, it is redevelopment. Some trees will have to come out. I can't pretend like that's not something that will happen. I don't believe we have any other. Oh, sorry, Kelly, question for you about connection. Is there any proposed trail connection? I know there maybe was talk of it early on. Any proposed connection to a trail or recreation space along Los Gatos Creek?
No, there's not going to be. I mean, it's being proposed as private and gated. So I don't know, if that's going to be proceeding or not, but in its current state, it's being proposed as gated. There isn't opportunity for connectivity. There's single family, detached on one end and maybe the apartment complex on the other. And so at this point, we're trying to just keep that riparian corridor in its natural state as much as possible without making excessive movements and improvements. We're trying to improve that area because, as New said, right now it's all the developments right up on the top of bank, right at the 0 feet setback. So we're trying to stay out of it. I don't know how connectivity would really be available with its current adjacencies for pedestrians.
Fair enough.
Right.
I can check in with the Parks Department to see if they had any long-term plans for trails here. Oh, sorry, new to pull you back in. There was a question about soils. Is there soil analysis done for this?
You're muted.
So sorry. There is a phase 1 environmental site assessment that is being done that looks at the impacts of like previous development on site and how like soils are being impacted.
I think you also should have a phase 2 that should be under review. I submitted a soils report as well, so you have that.
Okay, I will, yeah, check to see if that's being
Yeah,
done. Okay.
it was in my last submittals. I think it's
Okay.
still kind of probably in progress.
I
But
see. Thank you.
so you know, you'll have a soils report to review as well.
Thank you, Kelly.
There was one more. Somebody asked about just general, let me try to formulate the question. How many builders remedy or how many projects have been denied based on an environmental basis? I don't think I can answer that question right now. I mean, I have to really think about that. I have to go back and look at the city's history. So I think the last name was Harrington. I will, if you can shoot me an email at the end of this call, I can look into that a little bit further, but I don't think I have the time to do the research in this meeting. Jason, anything else environmental related? Am I missing?
See anything new? Did you see anything? Oh, maybe the traffic one. I don't know.
Well, oh yeah, I was gonna get to traffic
Yeah.
next. I'll call on Manjeet and there she is. She's there. Hey Manjeet.
Hi, this is Manjeet Benway with the Department of Public Works. So yeah, so we will be looking at a local transportation analysis, which we are actually already working on with the developer's consultant or city's consultant, but it will take a look at the traffic generated by the project. We'll take a look at Lincoln Avenue, trip generation, all that stuff. We're also looking at a couple of neighborhood streets in there to look at added volumes from the project, as well as speeding concerns that we're kind of aware of within the neighborhood. And so all that will be posted with the environmental document once it's finalized and done.
Thanks, Manjeet. And if anybody has any transportation questions, again, I would ask you to forward, send me any emails and I can, ferry them on to Manjeet and her team. They are the traffic gurus for the city. So one of the questions, I think Christy brought this up, and maybe you missed this at the beginning of the meeting, but I wanted to maybe hone back in on builder's remedy, the concept. So you're asking, hey, this site is zoned private recreation. Not entirely true. The land use designation is private recreation open space. The zoning district is RM, multiple residence. Because of the state law that the applicant is using, the city has to consider the project consistent with the city's general plan, regardless of what the general plan designation is. That is the penalty of the law, basically. I would just ask if anybody wants to sit down and take, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes, a half hour, and jump on a call with me, we can talk about builder's remedy. It's a little bit too convoluted to go back and forth at a meeting, that's meant for information, or meant for public comment. Yeah, I would just say, give me a call. Again, my contact's going to be at the end of the slides. Jason, anything else I'm missing from your notes? I think we can start it back up.
Clarification on 3 or 4 stories, and then there was a
Oh,
question
yeah.
about parks.
Hey, oh, good point on parks. Hey, Kelly, yeah, could you answer the question about like the building height stories?
Sure,
If you want to share, go for it. You can share your screen again.
No, I don't have it teed up, but I do
Okay.
have the information. Sorry. There are two buildings, if the 13 unit buildings that have 3-story end pieces. It's building 4 at the back, the one furthest back closest to the creek that runs, it would be perpendicular to, yeah, right there, to Pedro Street, that last one. Yeah, building 4, and then building 7, which is the one on Pedro on the right. So those are the two 13 unit buildings, and they have 3-story ends, and then the rest would all have 4 stories.
Those are the ones that like taper like
Correct.
this. Okay, understood. Understood.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
And then yeah, Jason, you said parks. Good point. I think yeah, Edward brought that up. Yeah, so this is state law as well as city's adoption of a state law. It's called the Parkland Dedication Ordinance or Park Impact Ordinance. So all residential developers in the city, and if they're proposing a residential project, they have the option to either dedicate park space or pay an in lieu fee. Give me a few minutes. I can actually answer on the next round of review and tell you what the estimated parkland dedication or parkland fee would be. It's based on a formula. So Edward, if you sit tight, I'll get you those numbers at the next round. Just a little time check. Hey, Kelly, would you mind if we keep rolling? I got about 10 hands up. I want to let everybody be able to talk, if you're all right with that.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
All right. All right. Let's start it up again. Jason, can you share your screen again? All right, beautiful. Thank you. All right, let's go to Vern. Vern Ladd, you are unmuted. Wait, I lost you.
Thanks.
Oh, no, there you are. Okay.
Can you hear me okay?
Yep, we can hear you good.
Okay, great. I just wanted to make a quick statement that, generations of Willow Glen community people have learned to swim, play tennis, and maintain and improve their health at this facility. And by taking this away, there's going to be a significant impact to those kinds of community characteristics. Is it fair to say that the city would have never approved this if it wasn't for builder's remedy? That's one question. The project is located in a priority development area, according to one of your slides. It said these areas were originally established to address, excuse me, housing needs in urban settings, and are areas where new development will support day-to-day needs in a pedestrian-friendly environment. Is recreation considered a day-to-day need in this type of environment? And it's interesting to hear about this park fee. What is the city's recreation plan, and this money that developers get to basically to pay instead of doing something like including a more comprehensive recreational facility that would help the community at large, like this has done for decades. What does that look like? I'm just left with a feeling that not knowing the answers, but I'm just left with a feeling that the city is more intent on just giving people places to sleep and stay indoors and stay on their computers as opposed to get out. So thanks. And recreate.
Thanks, Vern. Next up, I have Tika M. Tika?
Hi, thanks for taking the time for this meeting. I just have a few comments. I strongly oppose the current plan. While new housing is important to the city, this project is not consistent with the requirements of the general plan use designation for private rec and open space. Preserving these areas is essential as they serve the community's needs for health, safety, and quality of life. Allowing this development would set a concerning precedent by disregarding the intent of the general plan, which seeks to protect these areas from incompatible uses. The plan allocates only 11 guest parking spaces for 85 units, which is concerning. This shortfall would result in significant spillover parking onto nearby streets, worsening traffic congestion and creating safety concerns for pedestrians and drivers. Let's also not pretend that these units will also have 2 or less vehicles. Also just want to reiterate, recreation and open spaces are critical for public well-being, providing opportunities for exercise, stress relief, and safe community gathering. Replacing these spaces with high-density development would reduce access, ultimately harming residents' physical and mental health, which we all know the city of San Jose does have a mental health crisis going on, among other things. And just again, the proposed 4-story buildings are out of character with the neighborhood. There's currently nothing of comparable height in the surrounding area, and this sudden change in scale would negatively impact the established community fabric.
Got it. Thank you, Tika. All right, up next, I have Anne Skeet.
Thank you for the opportunity to comment and for hosting this meeting. I echo everything that's been said about the creek, the trees, traffic. I note that accessibility to transit is not as rosy as it was presented in this presentation. And I would say, since it's comment you're seeking and not sort of challenge to builder's remedy, I do think the situation is really one of the starkest examples of leadership failures in the city that I can think of, by not having the plan in place in a timely manner that exposes people to builder's remedy. But I would also say it's my understanding, and this is sort of a question about builder's remedy, so I can take it offline if you prefer. But the language I saw said that the housing that was to be called for under builder's remedy should be low income and moderate housing. And this project doesn't appear to meet that criteria. It's a private and gated community. And so that seems to run counter to the original intent of the law to open up housing options for people who are struggling with affordability issues. So I would like to hear that addressed at some point. And if you prefer that I follow up with you via email, I can do that.
Got it. Thanks, Anne. I would say both. I can address it, but also, again, feel free to follow up via email. Okay, next is Ben Beresford. You should be unmuted.
Yes, hello?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay, great. Yes, I also wanted to say thank you for hosting this meeting. I'm a high school civics teacher, and so I think these kinds of meetings are important. I would echo the comments that other people have made about the consequences for this part of Willow Glen in terms of a recreation space, and also for traffic as well. The kind of the unique geography of this part of Willow Glen, we're kind of hemmed in by the 280 and Meridian and Lincoln and Los Gatos Creek, and getting anywhere for transportation or other amenities is very problematic. And so unless there was like some sort of access across Los Gatos Creek, I think access to recreation would be a big concern. As somebody who lives in the neighborhood, I would also say already the issues of speeding, traffic, and parking are very problematic here, to the point where I am very concerned about letting my children go and learn and ride their bikes in our neighborhood for fear of being hit by cars or obstructed by parked cars. So that's a concern I have. I also think the idea of, well, I worry about the impact that a gated community like this would have on our neighborhood. One of the things the renderings did not show is that across the street is a transitional housing neighborhood, or excuse me, a transitional housing community. There are other low income communities, and I worry about how the people living in those communities would be adversely impacted by what seems like an initial step towards gentrification of the neighborhood, given how small the number of low income housing units are. And I want to know, like, how much weight does community input have in projects like these? Or is this kind of a fait accompli already? And this is sort of a pro forma process. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Much appreciated. Next up, I've got Louis Lee. Louis, you should be unmuted.
Still trying. Here we go.
Oh, there we go. Okay, you're good.
Thank you. Thank you for taking my call. First time caller. So there were a few items I wanted to bring up. First, what is the flood zone designation of this area? Would it end up being a disclosure that the builder seller would have to disclose to any buyers, and that the buyers will have to know that their insurance may significantly rise? I've had that issue with other properties. Another thing is that yes, I do. Going back a little bit, I do echo the other comments about the concerns having this development in this particular location. But that having been through already, the time to get that taken care of is already passed. There's a failure in the past city leadership that allowed a builder's remedy to be triggered at this location. So with that being said, can the city help identify alternate sites either for the builder, which is probably harder than, or if they can identify a site for a new club and assist in putting the club together? And if the city does not want to operate the club, perhaps there's a opportunity for a public-private partnership where the current club members and neighbors can put together either a trust or a co-op in order to own and operate the club. Thank you.
Thank you, Louis. Okay, up next, I've got Gil Mendez.
Okay, can you all hear me?
We can.
Okay,
We can hear
great.
you.
Great. So when all studies have been completed and you've dotted the i's and crossed the t's, when might the project begin, and when you foresee that it would be completed? In other words, how long would it take for all of this to take place? My second comment would be, since this particular developer has completed, I believe, several projects here in California and in other states, I believe. Has there been a study by them that would show what impact it would have on the value of single-family homes? And we would like that, because I think it would somehow impact whether it would go higher, I would doubt, but it perhaps would lower the value of homes. And my last comment would be about parking. If there were to be, I don't know how many workers on site, but they would have to park somewhere, how would it impact the surrounding neighborhoods? That completes my comments and questions. Thank you.
Got it. Hey, Gil, just to clarify, when you say work, you mean construction workers?
Correct.
Okay, understood. All right. Okay, you got it. See if we can answer that one. Okay, next is Maria Montez. Maria?
Hi, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, great. So I just can't help but, I'm listening to all these comments and I can't help but think that there's a significant unavoidable adverse impact on public health or safety. So there's going to be the traffic issues that are mentioned, increased heat-related health risks from the canopy loss of the 25 heritage trees. I know there's going to be trees replanted, but the time that it takes for those trees to grow. It just feels like those heritage trees are irreplaceable. It would degrade air quality, worsening asthma and cardiovascular illness. The stormwater hazards from the loss of interception and absorption from those trees is pretty key. And then also, of course, the public health consequences of density without recreation, including obesity, stress, and mental health risks. Those are huge. So I also see that there are there are inadequate water and wastewater facilities for this development. We already have water supply limitations. I'm not so sure the wastewater system capacity can handle this. And I know it sounds like, you know, there's some reports being done by San Jose Water and other agencies to kind of see the impacts, but it just seems like there would be too many issues for the development to kind of go forward.
Okay, understood. Thank you, Maria. Next up, I've got Kathy Holly.
Hi, this is actually Peggy Bryan using her computer.
All good.
Just a heads up, I was doing a little research on the background of this company. And in May 28th, 2024 in Pleasanton, Pleasanton Weekly is talking about 146 multi-family unit housing development by True Life. Mayor Carla Brown said it would have strengthened the relationship between the city and the developer if they had just worked with the city like other developers, rather than trying to use state laws to justify not having to go through the process. And Brian Winter, a land use attorney for True Life Company, said that they had state housing laws on their side and did not have to go through the process. And there's some more back and forth, but you can kind of get the gist of it. And then August 24th, 2025, the White Law Group is investigating a potential security claims involving True Life Company's Elite Fund 2, which funds is a capital funding mechanism for True Life. And they're looking into that that this fund had concerns about valuation and secondary market pricing that have come to light. So they're being investigated on that front. There's another lawsuit in Los Angeles, but it has been done away with by statute of limitations. So just I would say for the community, we're a member of the club, but we also we live on the Bascom corridor, and we are the recipient of thousands of units of San Jose housing, and we're Campbell residents. So would you please have our backs as your affiliated community, as your residents in San Jose, and as members of this club that dates back half century. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. I've got a few more hands up here. Kelly, just want to check in. You okay if I just run through the remaining hands? It's already 7:30, but I do want to be conscious of people's time.
Yeah, how many hands do you have left?
I've got 1, 2, 3 people left who have not spoken. I'm just for anybody who's already spoken, I'm gonna keep it just the people who have not spoken.
Yeah,
I apologize.
Sure.
Okay, let's do it. Up next is Dorothy Smith. Dorothy.
Okay, can you hear me?
We definitely can. Go for it.
I'm concerned about taking away this recreational resource for the community. It provides opportunities for the community, and the value of creating only 11 low-income units, we're going to increase the traffic, we're going to have environmental concerns, and we're taking away recreational opportunities to increase density, traffic, environmental risks, and we're not really creating any affordable housing. Why are we taking away recreational property and space, which is very limited in San Jose today? I just don't understand how we can take that away from us. it has more adverse impacts with taking away trees, space, creating traffic and environmental hazards. And I just don't think we've thought it through. We haven't thought it through. We're letting a builder's remedy come in and steal it. Thank you.
Got it. Thank you, Dorothy. Last up, or second to last, I've got Vern. Did Vern already talk? Jason?
Yeah, I think so. Yes.
Vern, I'm sorry. You're gonna hate me. But I gotta only go with people that haven't talked yet. Murgesh. Navar, please unmute.
Yeah, hi. This project seems primarily aimed at middle-income homebuyer market with a small set aside for low-income buyers. So the first question is, I'd like to know what the range of pricing of these units are. You know, what are they pricing this? Because this is primarily a low-income neighborhood. And the second question is, can this buyer get the approvals? The club shuts down and nothing happens. The property is abandoned because they don't have the economics to start and complete the project. How do you avoid that? How does the city ensure that doesn't happen? Thank you.
Thank you. I believe the last hand I've got is Wawa. Name Wawa. You're unmuted.
Yeah, it should be. So I'm concerned for the people that back up on Northrop, that back up to the club on the west side. Are the builders planning on building a 4-foot fence so they're not looking down into the backyards or in the homes of the people on Northrop? And I'm concerned about, in general, about how many people we're talking about on this property and loss of use of this recreational site.
Okay, I understood. Anything else? You still got a minute and a half.
Just that I'm opposed to it.
Understood. Okay. All right. Because it's already past 7:30, I'm gonna go ahead and close the public forum. I'm sorry I didn't get around to having people speak twice. But again, I would urge people to please email me at the end of this. At the end of the slides, I'm gonna give you all my contact information if you don't already have it. All right, let's try to distill some of the questions that we heard on this round. Maybe Kelly, I'll start with you. Just again, I want to be conscious of your time. Anything you can answer on maybe gates, why you chose to have a gated, at least front, understood on the rear. It is private property at the end of the day. Yeah, could you maybe touch on that?
Sure. Yeah, it was just something that someone thought it is an amenity and a benefit to homeowners. A lot of them, appreciate having a gated community to come home to. Just gives them a sense of security and safety, and so that's just something that we added to the project as a feature.
Okay, understood. Thank you. Can you talk about timeline too, Kelly? I mean, obviously, for everybody who's here, I can't give you a timeline on hearing just yet. When I do have an idea, I'll let you guys know. But could you give us a timeline on just general construction time?
Sure. I mean, it's like you said, it's really hard to project. A lot of this is contingent upon, market, et cetera. But once we even get through a director's hearing if things all went well for the project, then we would still have to move into construction drawings and final mapping and improvement plans. So that's going to be a minimum of probably 9 to 12 months. So say this maybe goes to hearing at the end of the year. I wouldn't say that anything probably would get started before the end of 2026 to get started, right? And then it's probably a year or two to get it actually built. So we're not looking at, anything going up vertically until probably 2027.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
But no promises. I don't have it. That's just
Yeah,
speculative. Okay.
sure. I mean, I can speak to that a little bit too, because I mean, for our group, we do conformance review for mapping as well as for building plans now as well. And yeah, I would say to the person that asked that question, I think it was Gil. Yeah, I mean, it can sometimes take up to a year for review of building permit plans. It's not quick. Hey, Joe Provenzano from Public Works, could you talk about site utilization?
Sure, I can touch on the flood zone. I know that came
Oh
up.
yeah, that too as well.
I
Thanks.
can, I mean, I
While
can
you're
talk about
here,
site utilization if you want.
let her rip. Let her rip. Go for it.
Joe Provenzano, Public Works. The site is in a federally unstudied area. We call it a flood zone D. So FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, has not done a formal study on that area. There's minimal risk of flooding. We know that with the creek nearby, obviously it doesn't sound so intuitive. We know that the creek can run full in a flood event, but as of right now, there's no determination that flooding would be an issue for the units there. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe. Oh wait, sorry. Can you talk about construction traffic? What you guys do generally?
Yeah, so the site has open space around it. It's not a site that is being developed in, say, one of our urban village where they don't have setback requirements and things like that. So parking for construction could occur on site. Parking could occur in the streets. We encourage the developers when they're starting to engage local opportunities in the neighborhood to park in designated parking areas instead of the local streets. It's certainly our encouragement. For the local streets are public parking and are available for them to park at. But the site does look like it has ample space for the possibility of a lot of the construction workers to be able to utilize the site for parking and staging and general construction activities without displacement into the public right of way.
Thanks, Joe.
Welcome.
I'll keep you on real quick so you can kind of piggyback off this. You guys did ask about parks fees. I pulled up the memo. As of this is the latest memo for 85 units. A parkland obligation would be the dedication of roughly a half acre for a public park. I can tell you the Parks Department is not here, but they will not accept half acre for a public park. So the preference is to convert that into an in lieu fee. And that fee is estimated at approximately $1,196,772. That is subject to change. It's based on the actual, finalized construction drawings for the project. And Joe, when is that paid?
That would be paid before they go into construction.
Okay, got it. So construction, and they have a final map too. I guess basically at the next stage, if this project is approved, it would be paid prior to issuance of building permits. Is that safe to say?
That is safe to say.
Okay, all right, very good. Thank you.
Okay, I can caveat though, there's some state laws recently that have allowed waiver of fees till occupancy. I don't obviously not to stir the pot, but generally.
No, good point. You're not stirring the pot. This is the reality, and I think Kelly, they are planning to use that, right? It's based on state density bonus. If you are a state density bonus law project, you can use that law.
Right.
Yeah, just
I
the
don't
deferral.
have.
Yeah.
Yes, right. Deferral to, deferral to certificate of occupancy.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm losing my voice. Talking too much. Okay. To Ben, your question, I would like to address that a little bit. I mean, yes, builder's remedy is tough. It is tough to deal with. Jason and I have held a lot of builder's remedy meetings with a lot of neighbors, with a lot of applicants. We do not discourage you from, despite the almighty power of this law, we do not discourage you from participating. Jason and I here, we do believe in public service, believe it or not. We actually enjoy this job. And so I would just say, yeah, please continue to participate. Please continue to voice your concerns. Maybe you can't get everything you want out of a project, but you may be able to, you know, get some modifications, get some changes, and refine a project as best you can. Jason, do you have anything to add there?
I think, you know, as Alex said, it can be difficult, especially with the combination of state laws that has come down on us and you know, basically makes it violations of state law for us to do certain actions, ask for certain things, etc. But I think, you know, we do encourage you to try to improve a project. And we definitely have had projects, Builder's Remedy or not Builder's Remedy, that have been vastly improved in staff's opinion by public comment and by, you know, public, you know,
Public participation.
participation. Yeah.
Hey, council member, you like to say a few words?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say thanks for just, you know, great run of the meeting and allowing people to, you know, ask their questions and then coming back around because you had time and utilizing it well. And the applicant wanted to thank Kelly for representing their perspective as well. And I'm just super impressed at the D6 members who ask questions, really smart questions that should be answered and addressed. And just want to thank you for hosting this evening and for all those that participated. So thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you, council member. Hey, Jason, can you throw the slides back up again? I want to put the contact info. I have a couple more items I wanted to touch real quick before I forget. Parking, I know, God, a lot of you guys are going to hate us for this one. I'm sure some of you have already heard this before, but the city, as of April 10th, 2023, has eliminated all minimum parking requirements for any private projects in the city. That being said, this project actually is still under the old parking code, but they're using state density bonus law to basically hit their number of parking spaces required. So for all intents and purposes, they are actually meeting our parking minimums under the old code. One more point, I think Maria brought this up. A water supply assessment, I will answer for new. We actually can't ask for a water supply assessment for any project that is less than 500 units. So this is far significantly less than that threshold. And then one more important point that was brought up about Builder's Remedy and how you actually get into Builder's Remedy. So you're mentioning, hey, there's only 11 units here. Isn't this meant for low income? Isn't the entire project meant for low income? Builder's Remedy 2.0, which is what this applicant is going under Assembly Bill 1893, there is a certain criteria for affordability. So one of those is that they can provide 13% of the units for low income housing, for low income tenants earning up to 80% of area median income. So that is what they're proposing here. So that equates to 11 units. So that actually is the lower end threshold for Builder's Remedy. There's two other ways to do it. I won't go into it. If you're interested, you can reach out and I can send you the whole law. God bless if you want to read it. I think I'm gonna stop it there. It's late. I don't want to just drone on and on. Here's my contact information. You guys can give me an email, give me a call. I also have news contact information. You can email both of us. That would be great, just so we both have your public comments. And then if you have any questions too, yeah, just shoot us an email, give us a phone call. If you have any questions for the applicant, we can direct them on to Kelly as well, and try to get you any answers to any questions you might have. Especially if I missed anything tonight, please feel free to email me. So with that, I'm gonna close out the meeting. One more reminder that if you did not receive a notice, please email me and I will make sure that you are on a list for notices. And with that, everybody have a wonderful night. And really thank you for participating. Thank you, Kelly, for showing up.
Of course.
And we'll leave
thank
it.
you.
Yeah, we'll leave these slides up for a little bit. But everybody have a wonderful night. Appreciate it.